working 9 to 5, this 9 to 5 don't work for me. I gotta find my way about this ain't how it's supposed to be. Feel like I'm settling for less, that's why I gotta leave. They may not understand it, it's not for them to see. Cause it's my vision and it's not yours, no. And you won't get it until reverse rolls around and around. I put my dreams on hold, you told me how that sound. I wish my dreams could pay cause I work for right now. Ain't had nobody yesterday gon' hold me down.
This episode is sponsored by the Moxie Hair Studio, located within the Phoenix Salon Suites, 2401 North Shepherd, Suite 205. So one of the best things about going to the Moxie Hair Studio and having Emily do my hair is that it's not just an appointment. It is girl time, as she likes to say. It's our time to hang out, talk about everything that's been going on in our lives, catch up, but also feel beautiful, feel empowered, and just ready to start new, whether it's getting a new fresh haircut, or whether it's getting a new color, or just getting a blowout. If you are interested in booking with Emily at the Moxie Hair Studio, go to her Instagram at glambyemilyr to see her availability.
Everybody, we are live. This is Let's Vamonos. We are live here on live streaming. So if you are watching us, you could be watching us from Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, wherever you like to watch live streaming at. But I'm your host, Desiree, and we have our very first guest for live streaming today. So this is Sonia Thomas with HTX Brow Lab. So thank you so much, Sonia, for coming on the pink couch and being part of this very momentous moment for Let's. As we all know, or some of y'all know, that I used to do edited videos. So everything was like not, raw per se. Yeah. So there was some opportunity to make a couple of mistakes. Here though, we're gonna put it out all on the rug.
Flaws and all,
everything. Yeah. So we are excited because we took that whole month off, but we are really happy to have Sonia on. She's gonna talk today to with us regarding the industry that she's in. So I always like to share a fun fact, Sonia, though. So fun fact of you, not me.
Right? Wait.
This is all about you today. But so share a fun fact about something that maybe your clients or your friends or supporters out there might not know about you.
So fun fact is I originally was not a makeup beauty into anything. I'm very much a tomboy. And I played soccer almost my entire life. So that was my actual dream until in high school I got an injury. I couldn't recoup the same time. And so I ended up, going through a mid-life high school crisis. And I remember my mom talking about cosmetology. And I was like, I guess I can try it. I had all my credits. So I didn't want to work. I wanted to still have fun. So I ended up going into school and here I am.
That's a great fun fact. So if you're just coming on, just so y'all know, we have our wonderful guest today, Sonia. So if you have any questions for us, you can obviously comment. If you're on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, you can comment and we can see them here on the side of our screen. We'll have some hopefully some comments come in here, but we are super excited to have Sonia. So we're going to get started. Tell us a little bit about, we don't want to know your whole life story, but
right.
Are you a native Houstonian?
I am first generation native Houstonian. Yes. My parents are from Mexico.
Okay.
And so it's exciting to be in position to do something different. Like I always say, my parents had to work really, really hard, and it's a blessing not to have to go through the things that they had to where we are today. So yeah. It's a blessing for sure.
That's awesome. Let me tell you a little bit about how I met Sonia. So I met Sonia through a wonderful friend named Deborah, and that's kind of how we connected. It's a small world, and we've been taking classes together, and I've been learning about the brow industry and the beauty industry. Y'all, I know nothing about that. If y'all think I know anything about it, I don't. I've been learning, and I've also been learning about some of the work that you do regarding it. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, the background of you being in the beauty industry.
Yes, so I actually did cosmetology, graduated, didn't touch it for many years. I actually went into the oil and gas field, and then wanted to become a makeup artist overnight. So I have about 20 years in the industry. I worked for MAC Cosmetics, which was for many moons, right? But then I went into luxury, and that changed my life. I was able to launch some high luxury brands that I never thought I would be in certain positions. So I went from an artist position to a account coordinator to I played temporarily I played the role of a executive, and I mean that changed my sight of things.
Yeah.
Things happen, had a kid, life changes, and I couldn't travel as much. So I decided to retire the beauty world. And then I kept getting called back. Like that was truly my purpose. I know now that that's my purpose. And while beauty is amazing and we can buy all the trends that are happening, I wanted to touch base a little bit more on a specific feature.
Which is
that's what I was known for in the beauty industry. My clients, they would be like, "Can I just get my brows done?" And I'm like, "Wait," I would always have to tell people I worked in retail, so sales were very important. You would have to buy a minimum of such and such.
Right.
But the problem was that most of these women didn't know how to replicate it, even if I taught them. So they would come in not only to see me and catch up on life, but to get their brows done. And so it was, and then it got deeper later on in life. So
yeah.
I don't know.
We'll touch a little bit about that.
That's how deep it got.
We'll definitely get there because Sonia is doing some amazing work. I've got some comments coming in, guys, through Instagram. Our girl Deborah's already asking questions. What has been the biggest challenge since starting your business? So before we get into that, Deborah, thank you so much for asking that question. And such a great supporter too. We love you. But so tell us a little bit about the exact work that you do in the brow as far as HTX Brow Lab. What is that?
Okay, so of course, because I'm a Houstonian, I wanted to make sure that was represented in my name. But Brow Lab, how that was created is when I first started specifically going into more of the paramedical tattooing portion, I actually got a contract with two doctors. Changed how my game started. It was like a stamp of approval from the medical world, right? Yeah. So literally dreams could just get bigger and bigger as soon as you attain a little piece of it. So starting that, right, I wanted to introduce what brow and then lab. I still wanted the cleanliness of a medical. Right. So that standard was so important for me, especially because not only do I do brows, styling them, with shaping them and tinting and henna and brow lamination, which is such a hot trend right now, to what I love, which is semi-permanent paramedical makeup, which is eyebrows. And
now, is that the same as microblading?
It's the same as microblading. Okay. The only reason why I call it paramedical is because they work with a lot of women who have been faced with more of medical reasoning of why they've lost their eyebrows,
such as cancer patients.
And then I have alopecia patients.
Right.
I also there's thyroid patients. There's a depth into why women lose their brows. It could be a stress factor. It could be brow trauma, which is considered, not a specific shot for brows, but where they do waxing. You can get burned. You can, it can be anything.
Yeah.
And so I have a passion for really focusing on the person versus the money will flow, right?
Right.
Everyone wants to make a livelihood, but the passion for me was I wanted to take care of the person, the individual, and really allowing them to be an intimate part of them.
Right.
Because eyebrows are really intimate. It's your face. It's what everybody sees.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
I rarely let people touch my face. I'm not like you said, it's a very intimate part.
Very
right?
intimate,
So you really don't have anybody and everybody touching your face.
Yeah, it's very important. It's like what you transfer type of stuff. You know, your touch, your spirit, how you feel. And I always want to make sure that I'm a light in people's day.
Yeah.
Of some sort, even if it's a little me, I'm just like, I love it. I love the response where they just smile or feel like themselves again.
Yeah. Well, I love that. We're going to talk more with you, but right now we're going to take a little break because we do have sponsors for our episode, and we're going to share those right here in a little bit. So definitely check out our sponsors and see if you can help them and support them in any way. And here we go. Let's see. Y'all bear with me.
Have you heard that Texas Premium Financial Services is opening up enrollment for their tax training center? Sign up today so you can start their classes on October 11th. Also, take advantage of their early bird discount code TAX22. Change your future, make some extra cash, become a tax professional. With Joanna Lopez, the owner of Texas Premium Financial Services. She will teach you financial skills to change your future. To sign up, call 832-990-0403. Sign up today. Also, stay tuned for next week's episode where we will have Joanna as one of our guests to talk about the services she provides.
We are back. Thank y'all so much to our sponsors for supporting our small business community out there, and as well as we're helping them as well by giving them an opportunity for advertisement here on Let's Vamonos. So we're going to get back to our topic with Sonia, which is talking about the HTX Brow Lab and what he does. If you're just joining on with it, we are really excited to be on here because it's live. So this is raw, this is unedited. So it might be a little like for me, but I really appreciate all of y'all's patience and support out there. We do have some comments coming in as well. So if you want to chime in and ask some questions, we'll get to those towards the end of the interview. But so before we went up to commercial or to our little break, you talked about in the face, right, and how intimate that is, and also about helping women who are dealing with some really tough struggles such as alopecia, cancer patients, and how you're helping them. Mm-hmm. What does that feel like?
I'm gonna get emotional, y'all. If y'all know me, I am a very just in tune with it's joyful tears, right? But at the same time, for me, it's such a personal thing because it's my life experience. So I don't know if we want to go that deep.
We can now. Okay. I do know about this part of your life. So if you would like to share, tell us.
Absolutely. So being in the beauty industry, you meet so many women. You impact so many people, and it's beautiful. I think it got deeper for me. Both my mom and all my sisters are an inspiration to who I am. But my mom, who never had eyebrows, which was for her, it was weird. Someone told her, "Hey, shave your brow thicker." That's a lie.
Don't do
it. Don't do it. But we actually got a personal experience. One of my oldest sisters was diagnosed with breast cancer, and nobody in our family has ever been diagnosed with that. So for all of us, it was hard to understand and kind of how to help her cope, right, mm-hmm. without being an emotional wreck and just being very positive and to assist and help, right? How can I share it? I still am very holistic, crunchy mom. I try to keep it all natural if possible, which it also is part of my products. But for my sister, when she was diagnosed with that, I was the first one she contacted about beauty products. I was very much already into more of the natural brands, things that didn't contain certain ingredients, because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there.
Right.
So that's what she was reaching out to me because I was already a
guru,
very informed in that area. And so she actually inspired me to kind of look into what was then microblading was just starting to come back out. Microblading has been out for many decades,
Yes.
but it was named differently. It was like brow embroidery, and you think of that as like what they do on clothing, right? And I'm like, that's a terrible name, but it's how it started, right? It made sense at the time, and so it's evolved. So my sister, we knew that she was going to go through like radiation and chemo. The depth of it, you don't know until your oncologists and your doctors are giving you like what it's going to look like.
Right.
And for the most part, with those who have to go through more of an intense treatment, you know, the chances of them losing every hair on their body is like pretty high.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do to help just a little bit of like peace or normalcy, right?
Yeah.
Because what do we do when we wake up in the morning? We wash our face, we look, and like we look at ourselves, and it's like when you don't see yourself,
Right.
like there, it's very deep. And so I was like, how life is full of beauty, but it's also you're met with uncertainty, and sometimes you like not there, right? And so for me, I was like, gosh, not only my sister, but there's so many women, also men, who experience this, and they don't have a choice with losing
No, right. It's,
sight of who they are,
For sure.
right? And so it's like a confidence thing as well.
and it's a whole mindset, right?
Absolutely.
It changes their whole mindset. When I found out that you actually did that, I was like, that is amazing. Because for me, I always hear about women in the beauty industry or specifically that are doing these things. They never really talk about what that
They're
has-
right, right?
Yeah. And I was just like, wow, that's really awesome, because I know I want to help women in all walks of life, in all stages of life, right? Through all trials and tribulations.
Right.
And you were the first one that I actually heard talking about it. So when I was like, oh my God, that's amazing that you do that, because that's just God's work to some extent.
Absolutely, absolutely. My oldest sister doesn't know that I talk about her. That, you know, I don't even say her name,
Right.
but it was an experience in her life that was. It was hard to see her go through it, but I was like, man, she's a veteran, like in the Marine, like hardcore, right?
Right.
So I'm like, she went through that. Like, this is nothing. But at the same time, who am I to say that, right? But I just wanted to be prepared to be able to give something back to her as a little piece of like, hey, I see you. You should still see yourself, and just you're beautiful, right? And so my sister didn't have to experience losing all her hair, but I've met so many women who have lost their hair because of whatever it's been. And let me tell you, the joy that they get in being able to, like, I see me, like that right there is like the ultimate for me. Like, it's such a blessing to have finances rolling in, right?
Right.
But to impact people, that's a whole
Yeah,
different level. It's truly my ministry. Like,
For sure. Changing their lives completely.
and they changed mine. I get impact. I feel like I get impacted more by my clients.
Yeah.
And I do have patients side of it, right? The doctor's office that I go, but like they're so loyal. It's more about just the service. It's like having a friendship, you know, getting to know them, like who they
Creating
are.
a relationship as
Yes,
well. Yeah.
because I get to ask questions like, how are your kids? You know, how was your trip? And that's the beautiful part. These women I'll probably see like once after they get it done, maybe once to. It depends. Everyone's different, but like maybe a year, 2 years that I won't see for a long time. But they have such an impact in my life, and vice versa. It's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I really love that about you. That's something that I think is really awesome. If you're just joining us, just so you know, we have Sonia on here with us. She's with HTX Brow Lab, and she is talking about her journey regarding her brow journey and how she's impacted people and how people have impacted her life. The other one of the things I wanted to talk about too is, you know, for someone like me who no one has ever touched my brows, I've been slowly getting influenced by everybody out there, because I'm like, I really like my brows, and you know, I feel like they're okay, right? But always can make them better. For people like me out there that are wanting to dip their toe into that, what are your recommendations as far as, like, I guess, vetting people and making sure you don't go to someone that messes it up?
Absolutely. I say, ask the questions. If you have a million questions, ask them. because it is my profession, I'm always going to answer the 1,000,001 questions. Why? Because I want to make sure you're comfortable. I want to make sure that I hear you, I see you, I understand you. And that right there is like relationship based, right? So most of the time, just an example, right? Growing up, I went to the nail shop. You want to get waxed? Yeah. They never pulled out oh my gosh, I'm having a
like
total
a stencil, like a
no,
stencil?
It's not even a stencil.
Or like a
Okay, I work with a caliper. I don't care if you're getting microbladed. I don't care if you're just coming in for a brow.
Oh, you're talking about like the.
I mean, I'm
precision.
Yes, I'm like working with a caliper. I work with it's hilarious. I work with a string to help map out. There's different tools that I personally use to make sure that I am matching your temp symmetrical.
Right.
So I literally work on one side of your features for your right brow, and then on the other one, I follow that side.
Okay.
So there is symmetry when I'm done.
Right.
Right? Because it balances to each side.
Right.
So it's like
they're not twins, they're sisters.
Right,
Like
exactly.
they say. I always hear that in the industry.
Yes. And so I pull out a caliper. They're not going to do that at the nail shop.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And then there is also those express places. I personally, and I want people to feel like people. Right. I don't want it to be an express shop.
Yeah, like it just like come in, get out, and go.
People are like 30 minutes for a brow wax, and I'm like, yes, you don't understand like what it entails. There's more. I have to. First questions I always ask, and this is like the medical portion of me, is what's your skincare routine like?
Yeah.
Like what do you use? What are you taking any current medications?
Right. You're taking this to the whole nother level.
Yeah.
In other words, you're being, even though it's your brows, there's more to it, right?
Yes.
And I think that makes it personable and really makes shows your character as well. Yeah. Because honestly, for someone like me who's never been, I would be dirt scared. Yeah. Like I've never even gotten my eyebrows waxed either. I wouldn't even let anybody do that. So for me, I'd be like, oh, I can't just go in and out. That would be scary for me. Like, for people like me.
Absolutely. And I do also have clients who feel the same way, and they'll inbox me and I'm like, send me a picture. I can try to consult you this way.
Yeah.
If you're not ready yet. And they'll ask a million questions. They'll watch me for a year and they'll see my consistency. It's either referrals or consistency in all my work.
Yeah.
So it's just being an open book.
For sure. Okay, let's go some of the questions, because I want to definitely get Deborah's question in here that she had asked, and I want to go back to it really quick. Had any questions? Let's see. Okay, where was it? Okay, so Deborah asked, what has been the biggest challenge since starting your business?
Ooh, I think the biggest challenge was actually taking that leap of faith to start it. I actually, when I left the beauty industry, I started working in office, translating.
Oh, yes. Like Spanish?
Like Spanish, for Spanish clientele.
Okay.
For a roasting coffee company. Okay. So I love coffee too, y'all.
Okay.
But different worlds, right?
Right.
Like makeup, coffee.
Totally different.
But the reason I had done that was because I've hit, financially I had hit my dreams. Uh-huh. Well, not all of them. But I had hit the ones that I never thought I could do it. If I can be trusted with that much money and make it, can I also make this amount of money, which was like, took a 50% pay cut.
Right.
Like
on your own.
On my own, right? Like, and so I was doing this at the coffee shop, and I think I was there for maybe like a year, maybe going on 2, and I was just comfortable. A lot of stuff, personal things had happened, and I was just like, And I was going through doing part-time eyebrows. Like, all right. Anyways, my position ended up getting dissolved. Okay, that's what they called it. And I was like, I didn't even fight it, right? I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? At the time, my husband was like, I don't understand why you keep fighting your purpose. And so he's an entrepreneur. Uh-huh. He's been an entrepreneur his entire life. And I'm like, man, you work without fear, right? Yeah. Because growing up Latina, medical insurance, medical insurance, medical insurance.
Yes,
money,
yes,
save
yes,
money.
yes.
Make
We
sure
hear
you
it
have
all the time.
Yeah, and so it was that leap of faith in trusting myself to just do it. I had originally I was at Blue Lion. That was the first studio I had, and the reason why I knew that was the place, rent was fearful, right? That's scary to have to pay something weekly. And the reason why I fell in love with that company at the time was I saw scripture. And I was like, this is literally like everything was like divine steps for me to really taking this walk in faith and not knowing really what was going to happen.
Right.
And then 3 months later, these doctors give me a contract.
Yeah.
And I've been with them for 5 years, like going on 5 years.
And if your job hadn't been dissolved, who's to
Exactly.
say that you would have still, where would you have been?
Where
right?
would I have been? So
Yeah.
the biggest challenge was really believing in myself
There you go.
as much as my partner believed in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great for the question, Deborah, because that's one of the things Let's Vamonos wants to do as well. We want to inspire those women out there that don't believe in themselves. Sonia, that's a great testimony of, you just have to believe in yourself and do it and start, right?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing that. Let me see if we got any other questions. Y'all, if y'all are on, send us a question you'd like to ask Sonia regarding either her industry or have some questions regarding brows. Send them our way and we can answer them. But just so y'all know, we are here also at the 711 Milby Street Ironworks building. This is a Cargo Vintage Ladies spot. They are one of our location sponsors, which we are so thankful for. We are so glad that they are able to collaborate with us and work with us so we can make sure that we are continuing to support small businesses out there 24/7, 365. This is also this is also Hispanic Heritage Month. So, representation in the beauty industry is also a big deal as well. Do you feel that Latinas have good representation in the beauty industry?
I could say yes, just from my personal experience, right? But I can also say that from hearing other women, it can be, and the only reason I say that was because working in the beauty industry, I always wanted to work for a company that represented
people of color,
people that look like me,
Yeah.
right? And so when you can't match your foundation,
yeah,
it gets like it gets you in your feels like, wait a minute.
It's either like always too. I know for me growing up, the foundation was always too light.
Right.
So it's too light. It was never a natural.
Right. And so being in the beauty industry, I've learned, and this is one of the conversations I'll have with clients, because cosmetic tattooing is totally different, than cosmetics, right?
Right.
We don't see the same.
Right.
Which was something that I had to kind of erase to be able to master what I'm doing. But we have two tones, right?
Yeah,
so bronzer has always been my best friend.
Yeah, same here.
So I think yes and no. It just depends, but
do you have any Latina brands out there that you know of that are
as far as cosmetics? Guys, I honestly don't wear makeup on the daily basis because I've always worn a face mask when I service, even pre-COVID times, right?
Because it's a clinical.
I'm in your face.
Yeah.
I come from. Oh, another fun fact. I was supposed to be a dental hygienist.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny.
So you're used to wearing a mask.
So for me, it was just an easy transition. So to me, there's no point in wearing it. And my brows are kind of like my front person. That's what people see. So as far as cosmetics, there's this young lady. She creates soaps. I think it's Yerba soap.
Yes.
And I know that she has her beauty brand that she's starting to push more, right?
Yes.
So I know that she creates product. She started off with gloss, and now she's developing other areas. So not only is she Latina, she is local, and she's very passionate and driven with her products. And the fact that she's a naturalist too, I enjoy that stuff.
Yes.
So I bought her soaps, but I've never touched into cosmetics yet because I'm I don't wear it.
Yeah.
And literally, guys, we have change our mascara like I think it's like every do it, right?
Yeah.
And lipstick, like there's a container expiration. I should probably look through my stuff. I am my worst client. Like I am my worst
I'm
client.
the same way as well,
Like,
because I
ooh.
always want to keep my favorite, right? You keep your favorite until it's like run down to the bottom. It's one of those things where it's hard to give up our faves, or they discontinue.
Yeah.
They do
I mean,
that
but
as
if you are Latina out there and you need a face to it, I personally enjoy like wearing tinted foundations with SPF in it. I'm a big SPF person.
Yes.
Just being in part of the skin.
Yeah.
Like great skin means great everything, and
Yeah.
you have to wear less of everything.
That is very true. That is very true.
You know.
Well, it looks like we have come to our last questions. I don't think we have any more questions out there, but we will have this up. This will be posted for you to watch later. So if you're missing the live right now, no worries. You'll be able to watch at a later convenience. It'll be posted on all the social media platforms where Let's Vamonos is at. So Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you're not following us on YouTube or Facebook, please go follow us and support us there as well. But any last words of wisdom or consejos or dichos that you like to share with our followers out there?
I always say, well, when I first started the beauty industry and I would make posts, right? Like I would always put in my post, wake up. So if you guys are ready to wake up with perfect brows, you know where to look now. So
Yes, for
join
sure.
us. But thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited that it's like your first like live, like
live stream. I know. Thank you. I gotta
Make sure you
gotta give it.
congratulate her. That's major.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
So thank you so much for being willing to come on here and sit on the pink couch. And as always, guys, thank you so much for the love and support out there. And we're gonna Vamonos. Bye.